Good evening, all of you. Good evening, all of you. Today class we'll go and discuss about files in Python. Files and regular expression operations. First of all, we'll go and discuss about the files in Python. I will go and use the files in Python. I will go and discuss here. After that, we will go and discuss about regular expressions. Let us see what is a file. Files are named locations on disk to store related information. Files are it is a type of storage for storing of some related information inside the files, so that the file will be stored data permanently. Instead of storing a RAM, the files will be going to store into the hard disk, so that the information can be stored permanently into the hard disk. So files are named locations on disk to store related information. So they are used to permanently store the data in a non-volatile memory, that is called hard disk. So the files, instead of storing programs in actually the programs can be stored into the RAM. So instead of storing programs into the RAM, so you are going to dealing about files. So that file can be going to store into the non-volatile memory, that is called hard disk. So that whatever information the file contain, so that information can be stored into the computer permanently. So these are the different types of operations can be take place on files. So first one is open a file, and after that you can perform read and write operation on that file, and after that finally you have to close the file. So these are the sequence of steps can be take place for creating of a file in Python. So first one, open a file, and after that you can read or write the operation. You have to read or write the data onto the file, and finally you have to close the files. So let us see how to opening a file in Python. So for opening up a file in Python, you have to use a open function. So by using open function, you can open the file, and also the file, the open function, which will go and accepted two arguments. So that is a file name and access mode. So like as in C programming, you are using a fopen. So in C programming, you are using a fopen function, and followed by file name, and followed by mode operation. So whether it is a read mode, write mode, or R plus, W plus, and so on. So in C programming, you have to use the fopen function for opening of a file, and after that you have to use a read mode or write mode, or W plus, and so on. So similarly in Python, you have to use a open function. You have to use a open function, and that open function is okay. We'll go and continue the class. So about opening a file. So is my screen is visible and my voice is audible? So what is so these are the operations can be take place in Python and also in C programming. So first one is opening a file, and read or writing a file, and close a file. So in C programming also, so we'll go to perform for opening of a file. You have to use fopen, and followed by file name, and a comma, and followed by mode operations. So we have to write a mode operation is read mode, write mode, or appending mode, and so on. And similarly in Python you have to use the open function, and that open function is going to accept two arguments, that is a file name and followed by access mode. So this is syntax for writing for opening of a file. So file pointer equal to open and followed by file name and followed by access mode. So these are the different types of access modes. So it will be similar like as a C programming. So first one is a read mode. So it opens the file to read only mode, and RB. So RB for binary. So it opens the file to read only in binary formats, and R plus. So R plus is nothing but it opens the file read and write. That means you can perform both read and write operations. RB plus. So that means it opens the file to read and write both in binary formats. And a W means that it opens the file to write only. And a WB. So what is a WB? So write only in a binary formats. And W plus. So that means write and read. Both operations can be performed by using a W plus and WB plus. So that means that it opens the file to read and read both in a binary formats. So these are the different mode operations, and one more mode is another mode is called appending mode. So by using that appending mode, you have to append the files to the existing file content, and AB. So the appending a binary formats, and A plus. So that means appending and reading both operation can be performed by using A plus and AB plus. So that means appending and reading both in binary formats. So these are the different types of file mode operations, and similarly in C programming also we will going to use same different types of file mode operations. So let us see how we're going to open a file. So in this example, I'm going to use reading operation. So it is a file pointer fp is equal to open by using a open function, and you have to pass two arguments, that is a file name and followed by mode operation. So here I'm taking a file name is called file.txt, and it is a read mode. So it is a read mode, and if file pointer colon, and it will go and print file is opened successfully. So if the file is created, or if the file is opened successfully, then it will go and print the message file is opened successfully. So let us create a file. So we are going to create a file. So first one, file pointer. Let us take I'm taking a fp. So fp stands for file pointer and followed by open and followed by file.txt and comma, and it is a read mode operation. And if fp, so if the file is opened successfully, so I want to print a message. So file is opened successfully. So file is opened successfully. So in this example I got error. So why? Because so in this example I got the error. So why? Because I'm not going to create a created a file.txt. I'm not going to create a file.txt file. So if you want to create, you have to use write operation. So fp is equal to open and followed by file.txt and followed by write mode operation. And if it is write successfully, it will go on to say that the file is created. So the file is created successfully. So the file is created successfully. So see here, so the file is created successfully. So after creating a file successfully, now it will be going to allow for reading of the content in a file. So right now I don't have any content in a file.txt file. So let us see here. Let us file is opened. So the file is opened successfully. Let us run this. So now it will be giving a message, the file is opened successfully. So whereas in previously I'm not going to create a file.txt file, so that's why it will go and produce the error. So whereas now I'm going to create a file.txt in a write mode operation. So in write mode operation, and after that, after applying a write mode operation, now it is possible to perform read operation. So without creating a file, it is not possible to create a file. So if you are trying to without creating a file, it is not possible to read a content in the file. So if you are trying to read the content in a file without creating, then it will go and produce the error. So that's why in a uh, previously I got the error. For example, if I change the file1.txt, now let us see here. So it will going to produce the error. So why? Because I'm not going to open the or I'm not going to create a file1.txt file. So that's why it will going to produce the error. For example, if I change the file.txt, then I got the message file is opened successfully. So otherwise it will going to produce the error. So that is a message which will be getting once if it is file is created successfully, and after that once the file is content is read successfully. So next one, close method. So after performing a read and write operation, now we have to close the we have to close the file by using a close method. So by using a close function or close method, you have to close that file. So for closing of a file, you have to use with statements. So you have to use a with statement for closing of the files in Python. That will be introduced in Python 2.5. So the with statement is useful in the case of manipulating the files, and it is used in the scenario where a pair of statement is to be executed, a block of code in between. So what are the code you have to write in between a with and followed by open function? So that code is going to execute it. So the block of code is going to execute it. So by using a with also, you have to perform open function, you have to open the file, and you have to perform some read or write operations. So instead of using a open function, we'll be also use with statement also. So by using a with statement, it is also possible to open a file. So what are the advantages of using by using a with statement? So the advantage of using a by using a with statement is that it is provide guarantee to close the file. So it is provide the guarantee to close the file. So whereas in a previous example, so it is a mandatory to close the file. So it is a mandatory to close the file after performing a read and write operation. So whereas by using a with and followed by open function, so it will going to provide the guarantee to close the file regardless of how nested blocks will be exist. So that means it will provide the guarantee to close the file. So without using a close function, by using a with statement, the with statement is going to provide a guarantee to close the file. So that's why in Python, so it will be suggestible to use a with statement in case of files. So while dealing about files in Python, so it will be a suggestible you have to use a with statement in Python. So why? Because it will provide the guarantee to close the file. So whereas in whereas in a close method, you need to close manually. So you have to close the file manually. Whereas in a with statement, it will going to provide the guarantee to close the files. So this is an example on with statements. So with and followed by open and followed by file name dot txt comma read mode. So read mode as. So as is the alias name and alias name for f. So I'm going to create an alias name is f, and now by using that f variable, I'm going to read the content in the file. So I'm going to read the content in the file by using a read function. So by using a read method, I'm going to read the content in the file. So you have two types of methods. So you have two types of methods, that is a read method and read line methods. So what is a read method and a read line method? So by using a read line method, you have to read only one line at a time. So by using a read line method, you have to read only one line at a time. So if you want to read a second line, then again you need to write or again you need to call read line method. So then only it will go and read the next line from the given file. I hope you'll be understanding what I am saying. So if you want to read a first line in a file, then you have to use a read line, and if you want to read a second line in a file, then again you need to call the read line method. So in this example, for reading of a first line, I am going to use a read line, and for reading of a second line, then I will going to use the again read line function. So by using a read line method or function, we will go and read only one line at a time. If you want to read multiple lines, then you have to call multi read line methods. And also by using a read method, so it will go and read the starting from the file. So it will, by using a read method, it will go and read this read a string from the file. So that means it will go and read the all content at a time. So whereas in a read line method, by using a read line method, you have to read only one line in a file. If you want to read second line, then again you need to call read line methods. So that is the difference between read method and read line method in Python. So any doubts up to now? Doubts up to now? So are you following? So any doubts up to now? Are you following? So if you have any doubts, please post the query in the chat box. Okay, next one is write the file. So for writing of the content in a file, you have to use a W mode. So if you want to create a new file in Python or C programming, you have to use a mode operation is W mode. So that is write the content in a file. So and also you can use appending mode also for appending the content in the existing file. So by using a mode operation, it will go and append the existing file, and by using a W mode operation, it will be overwrite the file if any file exists. If it is not exist, then it will go to create one new file. So for example, so I'm using here, so file pointer equal to open function and followed by file2.txt, and it is a W mode. So that means I'm going to create a new file. So I'm going to create one new file, and it does not have any content. So now by using a write function, so by using a write function, I'm going to write the content. So I'm going to write the content into the file2.txt file, and after that I'm going to close the content. So after that I'm going to close the content. So let us execute code in the notebook. So first one, so file pointer, that is a fp is equal to open. So let us open a file is called file.txt, and it is a write mode operation. So by using a write mode, you have to write the content into the file. So for writing of a content into the file, you have to use file pointer and followed by dot operator and followed by write operation. So if you want to read multi lines, you have to read multi lines. So you have to use you have to use triple quotes. You have to use triple quotes, or if you want to read only single line, you have to use a double quotes. For example, I will be write the content. Okay, I will write the content. So Python is the modern day language. So Python is the modern day language, and full stack. It makes things so simple. Full stack. So now I'm going to write the next line. So it is the fastest, fastest growing programming language. So this is a content I want right here, and after that I will be close file by using a close method. So now let us run this code. So now the file is the content the file.txt contain this message. So I'm going to use a write method. I'm going to write the content into the file. So for example, if I want print file pointer, then what is the output? Okay, so I got some message. Okay, so anyway, I will write the content into the file.txt file. So after that, now I'm going to appending some content into the existing file. So I'm going to appending the some content into the existing file by using a appending mode operation. So that is a mode operation. So I'm going to append sorry. So I'm going to appending a line. Python has an easy syntax and user friendly interaction. And after that I'm going to close this file. And if I try to opening a file.txt, so then it will be appending the content to the existing file. So by using a mode operation, you have to appending the content into the existing file also. So for example, so I'm going to appending a file. So I'm going to appending a one new line. So that is called Python. Okay, this is a content I want appending. So for appending, you have to use a mode operation. So now the file is content. That is, a Python is a modern day language is appended to the existing file content. So the Python is appending this content. So if you go through your Google Drive, then you will be observe the file name is called file.txt. So if you go through the Google Drive, in that Google Drive it will be there is a file name is called file.txt. So that will be available. Once you can click on that file, then you are going to observe that the file is uh, appending to the existing content. So that is about a appending mode operation. So by using a read method, you have to read entire content, and by using a read line method, you have to read only one line in a file. So these are the two methods. By using a read and a read line, you have to perform. You have to read the entire content, or you have to read the uh, single line or multi-line. So that is about files. In the next class, we will going to discuss about file types. So we'll go and discuss in the next class about file types. So that's all about the today class, and we'll go and meet in the next session.